Las Vegas Aces superstar Asia Wilson broke a scoring record last night, but she don't get the respect that she deserves. She broke a scoring record last night against the Indiana Fever in a great win where she was magnificent, but she don't get talked about enough. And that's the issue that we have. But before we get off into today's podcast, tell a friend to tell a friend. Well, Las Vegas Aces superstar Asia Wilson, she's on a historical campaign herself, man. But a lot of people want to sweep that under the rug. A lot of people don't want to talk about Asia Wilson. They don't want to talk about other players in the WNBA. And this notion of everybody wanting to, on their media outlets, talk about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and don't give Asia Wilson the respect that she deserves. She deserves more respect, and she needs to be talked about. And this is what Monica McNutt was telling Stephen A. Smith a while back. 3 years ago on your platform, you could have been talking about the WNBA. But the way Stephen A. Smith reacted, like, really? Really? It's my platform that we've been talking about the WNBA. But y'all don't want to talk about Asia Wilson and all the other greats that are in the WNBA. And that's the problem that some of these women are having because of the disrespect for the women that paved the way. And they basically been on record to say, hey, don't forget about these other players. There's more than just Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And this is what Angel Reese said early in the season about it's not just one player, it's a collective group of players that the WNBA fan base is now watching. It's not just solely focused on one or two players. It's players that are in the league that have been doing historical things and they don't get enough attention. Asia Wilson, a champion, a scoring champion, a collegiate champion. But it seems like all her accolades that she's doing this year have been swept under the rug because of what the narrative is about Caitlin Clark. And this is what the people have a problem with. So last night against the Indiana Fever, Asia Wilson showed up and showed out. So basically this notion of trying to put Caitlin Clark in this MVP discussion with Asia Wilson's like, pump your brakes. Y'all going too far. I'm still the GOAT. I'm still the MVP of this league. She got to come through me. And you saw last night when the lights was the brightest, Caitlin Clark was a no-show. 6 of 22 from the field, 1 of 10 from three-point range, 16 points, 6 assists, 5 turnovers. And Asia Wilson just flat out balled. Another double-double last night. So basically, CNN Sports article says Asia Wilson breaks WNBA single season scoring record in a Las Vegas Aces win over Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. So Las Vegas Aces superstar Asia Wilson set the record for the most points in a WNBA season in her team's 86-75 road win over the Indiana Fever on Wednesday. Wilson tied the existing record of 939 set by Seattle Storm's Jewel Lloyd last year with a free throw in the first quarter before making history with a mid-range jumper in the closing seconds of the first half. She finished the game with 27 points, taking her season total to 956 per the team. If she plays in all 4 of the Aces' remaining regular season matchups, she would need to average 11 points per game to become the first player in league history to score 1,000 points in a single campaign. Wilson currently leads the WNBA in scoring with 27.3 points per game. Now that is historical things that Asia Wilson is doing. It's a blessing. It really is, the two-time MVP said post-game. It's something that I don't take for granted. We have some phenomenal players in this league, so for my name to be in that list is truly a blessing. I have to give all credits to my teammates because without them, I wouldn't get the basketball I wouldn't get the basketball of them continuing to pour into me so I can pour into the team as we go a long way. Wilson received a wave of support from her peers after breaking the record with the 6-time WNBA All-Star and current South Carolina Gamecock coach Dawn Staley among those to offer their congratulations. Staley coached Wilson for 4 years in college before she was drafted with the #1 pick in 2018. So basically, stuff like this, a lot of people don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about the records that A'ja Wilson is breaking. You know, they focused on, you know, Caitlin Clark with her first rookie to have a triple-double. Everybody, that was a storyline. That was all over the media outlets. You know, you had major media outlets, you know, the likes of Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, glazing over what Caitlin Clark did. But they don't want to focus on what A'ja Wilson did. Now I see a segment on ESPN First Take today that Stephen A. Smith really went out of his ways to give A'ja Wilson her praise. You should have been doing this a long time ago, Stephen A. Smith. That's just like Monica McNutt said. That's what stirred a confusion in the media, and that's why Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp felt it was okay for them to start going at the ladies over the recent play of what Caitlin Clark has been doing since the Olympic break. But last night, A'ja Wilson, she was in her trick bag, and let's take a look at some of the highlights that A'ja Wilson gave us last night on her scoring record breaking. So let's take a look at that, and let's see what A'ja Wilson was doing and the way she was doing it. That mid-range game is just on point. So let's take a look.
Here's A'ja Wilson knocking down her first look. 8 closing in on halftime. A'ja Wilson with...
Seemed like all her shots was from the mid-range.
Wilson, mid-range,
her teammates know how to get her the
Kelsey
ball.
Mitchell has to be really careful jumping out on that ice.
10 points, 8 rebounds here in the first half. In fact, she's
allowed once in a while.
Get right back to her spot.
Wilson's finding some space from the mid-range and connecting. Point shy from the WNBA's all-time total score.
She's been hot,
flowers,
shooting
man. Give her
43% during that time from the three-point line.
Wilson all mid-range and all day.
Cash food, everything around
She scored the first 10 points in the mid-range. Kelsey Plum playing Caitlin Clark, no catch, meaning she's not trying to let her get it back. Oh, they're calling jump ball on that. They're in the WNBA. 2 hard dribbles to the midline usually works against everyone else in the league. She went 1 for 9 in one of the games from the free throw line against Las Vegas earlier this season. She's working on it.
Wilson's been deadly in the mid-range here tonight.
So y'all saw how A'ja Wilson got a complete game, man. She'll get you in the trick bag, man. She got that mid-range pull-up, man, that can't be stopped. And every time that game got close last night, they gave the ball to A'ja Wilson, and she got to her spot on that mid-range, and you know, she closed the game out, man. So we got to start giving praises to the greats, man. She right now is the GOAT of the WNBA. There's no comparison. She should hands down in a landslide be unanimous rookie of the year. I mean, not rookie of the year, the MVP of the year. Unanimously. You know what I'm saying? Nobody comes close, man. So we got to start giving her flowers, man. I think she gets totally disrespected. She deserves more respect, man. She's one of the greats in the league. She's a GOAT, and she's going to go down in the history as probably one of the baddest to ever play women's women's basketball. Pardon me. But, yeah, we just got to start giving her respect, man. Nobody really wanted to talk about her achievement last night. That went swept under the rug because they played the Indiana Fever, and the Indiana Fever lost. So the focus was on what happened to the Indiana Fever. What is Christy Sides doing? Caitlin Clark had a bad game. Aaliyah Boston had a bad game. That was the focus. Nobody wanted to praise A'ja Wilson for her historical run that she's currently on and what she's doing in the WNBA. So you guys let me know what y'all think about today's podcast, man. Post your comments, man. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you got your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball Dropping drops another hot banger. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.